Anderson Cooper, the silver-haired sentinel of CNN whose unflinching reportage has chronicled global crises from war zones to White House corridors, has long projected an image of stoic professionalism. Yet behind the anchor desk lies a man profoundly shaped by loss, a narrative he's only recently begun to unpack publicly with trembling vulnerability. In a tear-streaked appearance that stripped away the veneer of invincibility, Cooper delved into the lingering ache of his father's death at age 50 from surgical complications in 1978, when Cooper was a tender 10, and his brother Carter's suicide at 23 in 1988. These tragedies, compounded by his mother Gloria Vanderbilt's passing in 2019, forged a fortress around his heart, one he spent decades fortifying. But as detailed in his poignant The Late Show sit-down, Cooper is dismantling those walls, allowing grief's raw tide to usher in uncharted joy, primarily through fatherhood to his sons Wyatt and Sebastian. At 58, this reckoning isn't defeat, it's liberation, a testament to the intertwined dance of sorrow and serenity. The interview, a masterclass in emotional alchemy hosted by Stephen Colbert, unfolded with Cooper's voice cracking like fine crystal under pressure. "I didn't allow myself to grieve as a kid," he confessed, eyes glistening under studio lights, "because I was so overwhelmed when my dad died when I was a kid, and then my brother died by suicide, that I shut down and I lived for 40 years without allowing myself to feel the pain of the grief." These words, delivered with halting precision, peeled back layers of suppression. Wyatt Cooper, a writer and filmmaker whose 1978 heart surgery turned fatal, left a boy adrift in Vanderbilt's opulent world, a swirl of socialites, artists and inherited fortune that felt more cage than comfort. Young Anderson, thrust into Channel 1 reporting at 18 to escape the din, channeled chaos into career, but the unprocessed pain festered. Carter's 1988 leap from a 14th-floor terrace, amid a schizophrenic episode Gloria later chronicled in A Mother's Story, shattered the family anew. At 21, Cooper was already globe-trotting for ABC, but the loss hollowed him, a void he filled with relentless workaholism. The irony was that by not allowing myself to feel the pain of it, I also didn't allow myself to feel true joy, he explained, invoking a universal truth: you can't have one without the other. This duality, grief as joy's gatekeeper, echoes in his podcast All There Is with Anderson Cooper, a forum for mourners' tales from Joan Didion to share. There he probes the alchemy, how sorrow seasons delight, sharpening its edges. The pivot came serendipitously in recent years, post-Gloria's death at 95 from stomach cancer. "It's only now in the last 2 years, and my voice still shakes, which I'm sorry about. It's only in the last 2 years by feeling this grief and this sadness that I've been able to feel joy." Apology unnecessary, the shake humanizes him, a reminder that the man dissecting elections once curled fetal in grief's grip. Catalyst? His sons. Wyatt, 5, with his mop of curls and inquisitive gaze. Sebastian, 3, a whirlwind of mischief. Co-parented with ex-Benjamin Maisani, they arrived via surrogacy in 2020 and 2022, amid pandemic isolation that amplified their magic. "I have a lot to feel joy about because I've got these 2 little boys who are just incredible," Cooper beamed, noting Wyatt's backstage presence, a tiny voyeur to Dad's unveiling. "And so it is the greatest gift." Fatherhood, for Cooper, is redemption's canvas. Bedtime stories echoing Wyatt Sr.'s tales, park romps chasing Carter's phantom laughter. Instagram glimpses, Wyatt's 3rd birthday in 2023 with cake-smeared glee, Sebastian's 2022 debut in a sailor suit, reveal a tenderness foreign to his on-air gravitas. "This little peanut turned 3 today," he captioned one vulnerability in pixels. Christmas 2022 saw brothers navigating gifts, Wyatt guiding Sebastian like a mini-mentor, their bond a balm to fractured siblinghood. Yet Cooper's epiphany transcends domestic bliss. "You can still have a relationship with somebody who's died," he posited, voice steadying. "I have a relationship with my dad that's extraordinary, and I know him better now than I ever knew him when he was alive, when I was a little kid. And I feel my dad. I feel him." This ethereal connection, nurtured through Vanderbilt's archives and posthumous dialogues, defies closure's myth. It's in quiet moments, a son's dimple mirroring Wyatt's, a newsroom hunch echoing Carter's intellect. Grief, once buried, now converses, a spectral symposium informing his reporting from Ukraine's ruins to U.S. divides. Colbert's empathy amplified the intimacy, their rapport a safe harbor for tears. Cooper's arc mirrors broader dialogues: toxic masculinity's grief taboo, privilege's isolation, Vanderbilt billions couldn't buy therapy then. His podcast guests, From Tiffany Haddish on sibling loss to Anderson's own episodes with Gloria's recordings, weave a communal tapestry, normalizing the ache. For Cooper, Joy's rediscovery is revolutionary. Pre-Sun's life was grayscale, now it's vivid. Wyatt's look at me selfies, Sebastian's bottle-fed naps. Wyatt is 10 weeks old and doing great, he posted early, a novice's awe. Kisses, group shots with Maisani leaning in, these fragments mosaic a man reborn. Suicide's shadow lingers. Resources like 988's Lifeline underscore his advocacy, a nod to Carter's unspoken pleas. In bearing his soul, Cooper doesn't diminish his losses but elevates them, grief as teacher, joy as tribute. From overwhelmed orphan to elated father, his path illuminates. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the key to fullness. As Wyatt watches from wings, Cooper feels the ancestors smile. The greatest story, after all, is living it aloud.